thing you've done you've never told your dad?
I had a bubble bath and I let the faucet keep running while I was sitting in the bubbles, and the bubbles started lifting up and it splashed everywhere in the bathroom. So I didn't know, the walls were all wet, so I didn't know what to do. So I took a hair dryer and started blowing the walls, and it burned all the walls. Like, it started like...
Is that what that was?
Yeah. And so I never told anybody, so then they had to redo the bathroom because I kept it a secret, and so... Yeah, so I let
Okay, now we know. The mystery's solved.
I got a tattoo about a year ago.
What?
Where? My hip.
We'll talk about this later.
Well, when they used to take my cell phone away when I would get in trouble when I was younger, I actually bought a track phone that I secretly had, and so I still have a phone, but they never knew about it.
I never knew that.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel like she deceived me.
You guys were all in Vermont this past winter. I had a 80-person plus party, and a giant fight broke out when the cops came, and multiple holes were put in the wall. But
So that's where all the toilet paper went, I guess, yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
We had stole a bubblegum machine and went to McDonald's and tried to get something with it, but it was like 15 cents in there, so.
That's good. That's not too bad.
What's one thing you've done that you've never told your dad?
When we had a dog, I fed him like 5 popsicles in a day.
Why?
He liked it.
You fed the dog popsicles, really? I guess that's why the dog's not with us anymore.
Man. You see, you guys that are doing parenting out there, much love to you. Please bring your children and teach them love and peace and forgiveness.
Have you ever been thinking about someone and then all of a sudden, seconds later, that person calls or texts you? Why does this happen? Let's talk about it. My name is Christina. I go by Christina the Medium here on TikTok, and this is something that's very common and indicative if you are very claircognizant. Claircognizance translates as clear knowing. You have the ability to receive information and almost like spirit downloads from the spirit world through them, almost like dropping them into your awareness and consciousness in that given moment. And oftentimes there's either one of two things happening in this particular occurrence. Either in that moment, you have felt that other party energetically thinking in their head, oh wow, I need to reach out to Christina. I haven't talked to her in forever. It could be you picking up on them basically thinking about you in that moment. Or this could be your spirit guides basically psychically letting you know via your claircognizance that that particular person via distance is going to reach out to you. And when you all of a sudden had them pop into your head, that's that spirit download. Has this ever happened to you before? Let me know in the comments, but I hope this helps. Love y'all.
Take this away. Oh wow, there's one behind it. God, that's amazing preservation. Looks like there's going to be a few. Oh yeah. They're so loose in this shingle as well. They're perfectly preserved. That's amazing. So we've got 5 so far. No way. This is crazy. Oh, I've got 2. Got 2 that are stuck together. See the lovely bone structure there, nice brown. Are there any more? Can't see any more just yet. I'll have a little search after this video. But let's just lay these out. So there's 3. 6. There's 8 vertebrae there. Nice long string. That's amazing. I'm really pleased with them. Oh wow, that's incredible. That's a beauty.
This 15-year-old lion that has never been outside before is about to feel grass for the first time. Reuben is a lion that was born in a private zoo in Armenia. For his entire life, all he's known is the concrete of his enclosure and the iron bars that keep him in. He has never once seen the world outside and is very much a stranger to even the simplest parts of nature. At the very least, though, he seemed content with how his daily needs were being provided for and relished the company of the other lions around him, which were also kept in captivity. Unfortunately, this wouldn't end up lasting very long. When the zoo eventually shut down, almost all of the animals were taken away and relocated to sanctuaries, nature reserves, and other places where they would be taken care of, except for him. It was said that there just wouldn't be room for him out there, so he was coldly abandoned in the same enclosure he's been in all his life so far. Suddenly, everything he'd ever known was taken away from him. Aside from him not being regularly cared for anymore, lions happen to be very social animals and need ample company in order to remain happy. Their roars can travel up to 6 miles away, but no matter how much he roared, no one ever roared back. He stopped roaring entirely, and many people took pity on him and began feeding him through the bars. It was clear that this wouldn't be enough, though, and his health deteriorated in the whopping 5 years he was stuck in that situation. Thankfully, a lion sanctuary all the way in Africa had a spot just for him. The organization Animal Defenders International began to move quickly, funding the means to get him out of that shutdown zoo and bringing him into Africa. Their plan was to transport him to Africa by airplane alongside other cargo, as it would be the smoothest and fastest way for him to travel without getting too stressed. Qatar Airlines Cargo offered them a spot in one of their regular passenger planes. The heat would be a massive concern, though, but everyone involved was ready to go above and beyond for Reuben's safety, comfort, and eventual relocation. They custom-built his travel crate in Armenia so that it would fit him snugly. They painted it white to reflect as much heat as possible and sprayed the inside of it with lavender and fellaway, which calms cats down and keeps them relaxed. When it was all said and done, Reuben was sedated to be put into the crate, and people from the organization traveled with him on the same flight to ensure there would be no issues throughout the 15 hours that they would be flying. Finally, the plane landed in South Africa, and Reuben was driven to the sanctuary by truck. There, he would experience a magical moment as he stepped out of his crate. This would be the first time he would feel grass along his feet, experience the sun smiling down on him, and the wind whipping through his mane. He almost stumbles out, overwhelmed by new sensations and not quite knowing how he should walk on this unfamiliar terrain. He would lie down on the ground, look up at the birds in the sky, and indulge his curiosities in the toys given to him. Most of all, he would be in the vicinity of other lions to socialize with, and he watches them intently as the days go on. He would even eventually attempt to roar once again. The sanctuary will be Reuben's forever home, as he is too old to be let back out into the wild, and he won't be able to adjust to a new lifestyle. It will be alright, though, as the sanctuary is spacious, populated, and aims to mimic his natural environment as much as possible. Aside from being cared for and monitored closely, he is set to enjoy his life doing whatever he wants within the sanctuary's premises. He is being kept alone in one section for now, due to health concerns, but once he recovers nicely, he will be introduced to another older lion that could serve as his companion. After 15 long years, Reuben can finally live in the lands he was always meant to roam.
This message is definitely not going to be for everyone, so if you're seeing this, this is a very specific message for you. You may be noticing recently that the way that you interact with people around you has drastically changed. And it's not like it just changed overnight, but it happened so slowly over the course of the last 3 to 4 years that all of a sudden lately you have recognized how drastically it's changed. So basically what's happened is that you finally respect yourself. So what happened when you finally learned to respect yourself, or you could say love yourself, is that you automatically matured into the highest version of yourself, or your higher self, okay? This is why you don't hear your spirit guides talking to you anymore. This is why you don't really receive messages from your guides in the same way anymore, because you are your own guide now. It's basically like your higher self has just shifted into your body, and your past selves have all left the building. Or you could say they've all integrated into one, like an accordion, but irrelevant. The point of this video is the way that you're interacting with people these days, the relationship that you have to other people has completely changed. So because you didn't respect yourself in the past, other people did not respect you. So an example of this would be, let's say you work in customer service And in the past, almost every day, on a daily basis, you would have somebody coming in and trying to disrespect you and trying to return things that they didn't even buy and yelling at you and being rude and whatever. Today, you barely ever have interactions like that. Barely ever. Nobody is coming into your job disrespecting you anymore. And you haven't noticed it until just recently. Because now when you see your coworkers around you experiencing it, you're recognizing, wait a minute, I don't have those problems anymore. Why is that? Why do I not have that problem anymore? That used to be my normal every day. And you're starting to recognize that people are now showing you a different feeling when you interact with them. And it's not just random people. It's not just like a customer at your job. It's everyone in your life. Your family, your friends, your partners, everyone. Coworkers. They are treating you with a very high level of respect, and they're doing it unconsciously. They're not knowing that they're doing this. It's just automatically happening because you have raised your frequency so high that theirs is literally forced to magnetize to that frequency when they get around you. So there may be people in your past who were always rude to you, who were always condescending to you, who were maybe even narcissistic towards you. And now when they get around you, there's none of that energy going on at all anymore. There's just like a yes ma'am or yes sir energy going on from them. Or they may not even want to get around you at all because they know that they're going to have to rise to your level and maybe they don't feel ready to do that. So basically, you're recognizing lately how different it is when you get around anyone else. When you have any kind of interactions or energy exchanges with any other people in your life, no matter if they're a stranger passing you by or somebody who's been in your life for your whole life. You're recognizing that things are changing between them. And what that points out to you is how much work you have done on yourself to raise your frequency. So much so that it is an extremely strong magnet that pulls people out of low vibrations automatically when they get around you now.
If you want to know how to recognize when your spirit guide is trying to communicate with you, don't go anywhere. Dr. Michael Newton was a past life regression hypnotherapist who wrote the book Journey of Souls based on 40 years of gathering data from clients who would go into a deep hypnotic trance-like state and recall memories from past lives in the spirit world. Today, we are reading an excerpt about a woman who has come to Dr. Newton for a past life regression, and they discover that she is actually a very advanced soul, so advanced that she is actually a spirit guide who has incarnated into a life. And this is so interesting because the soul is actually describing the process of exactly what happens when someone in their group is reaching out to their spirit guide for help. Dr. N. All right, I would like to talk to you about how souls function as guides. Please begin by telling me in what way a company member on Earth can signal to get your attention. S, after a long pause. First, they have to calm their minds and focus attention away from their immediate surroundings. Dr. N, how would they do this? S, by silence, reaching inward to fasten on their inner voice. Dr. N, is this how one calls for spiritual help? S, yes, at least to me. They must expand upon their inner consciousness to engage me on a central thought. Dr. N, on you or the specific problem which is bothering them? S, they must reach out beyond what is troubling them in order to be receptive to me. That's difficult when they don't remain calm. Dr. N, why? S, for me, getting the signals is easy. It's harder for people on Earth. The energy of directed thought must override their human emotion. Dr. N, within a spirit world framework, how do you pick up on the messages of just your company out of the billions of souls who are sending out distress signals to other guides? S, I know instantly. All watchers do, because their people send out their own individual patterns of thought. Dr. N, like a vibrational code in a field of thought particles? S, laughing. You could describe an energy pattern that way, I guess. Dr. N, Okay, then how would you reach back to someone in need of guidance? S. Grinning. By whispering answers into their ear. Dr. N. Is that what a friendly spirit does with a troubled mind on earth? S. It depends. Dr. N. On what? Are teacher spirits rather indifferent with the day-to-day problems of humans? S. No, not indifferent, or we wouldn't communicate. We gauge each situation. We know life is transitory. We are more detached because without human bodies, we are unencumbered by the immediacy of human emotion. Dr. N. But when the situation does call for spiritual guidance, what do you do? S. As watchers in the stillness, we recognize the amount of turbulence from the wake of troubled thought. Then we carefully merge with it and gently touch the mind. Dr. N. Please describe this connection process further. S. It's a slipstream of thought, which is usually turbulent rather than smooth from someone in distress. I was awkward at first, and I still don't have my own guide skill. One must enter with subtlety to wait for the best receptivity. Dr. N. How can a watcher be awkward? You have had thousands of years of experience. S. Communicators are not all the same. Watchers, too, have a variety of abilities. If one of my company is in crisis, physically hurt, sad, anxious, resentful, they send out great amounts of uncontrolled negative energy which alerts me, but exhausts them. This is the challenge of a watcher, to know when and how to communicate. When people want immediate relief, they may not be in the proper mode for reflection. Dr. N. Well, in terms of abilities, can you tell me how you were awkward as an inexperienced guide? S. I wanted to rush in too fast to help without coordinating the patterns of thought we talked about. People can go numb. You don't get through to them when they have intense grief, for example. You're shut out of a cluttered mind when their attentions are distracted and their thought energy is scattered all about. Dr. N. Do the 9 members of your company sense your intrusion into their minds following a cry to you for help? S. Watchers are not supposed to intrude. It's more of a soft coupling. I implant ideas, which they assume is inspiration, to try and give them peace. Dr. N. What single thing do you have the most problem with during communications with people on Earth? S. Fear. Dr. N. Would you enlarge on that? S. I have to be careful not to spoil my people by making life too easy for them, to let them work out most of their difficulties without jumping right in. They only suffer more if a watcher moves in too quickly before this is done. I kind of think this makes sense because when you're so overcome with stress or sadness or grief, it's really hard to even understand what's going on in the world around you, much less be receptive of something from the spirit world. But when you do reach that point when you've just exhausted yourself with grief and you basically just throw your hands up in the air and surrender, it's often in those moments that we finally feel that feeling of peace come over us. I've also noticed when I'm going through times when I'm super stressed out and I'm just spinning my wheels, my thoughts just won't stop, nothing gets through to me. However, if I can get to the point, maybe I go to sleep that night and wake up the next morning and I'm a little bit calmer state, and you just breathe and go inward, it's then you're able to tap into some peace. Then you're able to tap into some relief from all of the crazy emotions. And I think that's one of the ways that our guides get through to us. Also, our guides are always around. We can always reach them. Just because they're not responding in a way that is immediately obvious to us does not mean that they're not working for us in the background. And sometimes the best thing they can do for us is just give us enough peace and stillness so that we can just get through the next day. We don't learn anything from hardship if somebody just comes in and snaps their fingers and takes it all away. So unfortunately, it's something we do have to go through, but just know that you're never ever alone, and you can always talk to your spirit guides. You can always talk to your angels. You are always surrounded by so much love.
와, 와. 아니 건배 안 해야 되는 거 아니야? 어머.
This camper experienced a strange night whilst camping in the secret Scottish glen.
In a pile over there, like sitting on the ground. Right. Think someone's playing silly buggers.
The night before,
I'm roasting already. Oh, feels good. Oh, that feels good. A bit too hot, but right. So I think I'm going to go to sleep. And unless something crazy happens, I will see you in the morning. Good night. Oh. Oh. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Hello? 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 Now the thing is, I'm kind of on an island here, so there's river on that side, river on that side. It's very hard to get down here if it's a human, that is. Hello? Typical, now I can't hear a thing. Right, I'll just turn the light off. So that definitely sounded like somebody there. But there's no one here. Every time I come out it's empty. Unless I come out the fucking river. I don't even think. No, because as I said, I'm basically on an island, so there's no way that anyone could actually get it. Jesus Christ! What? Hello? 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 Jesus Christ! Fuck that. Hello? Did that noise again. It sounds like somebody laughing outside, but I have no idea.
luckily he made it through the rest of the night. But what do you think could have made those noises?
Do you think that video is real? Why was he repeating about being on an island?
Is this a coincidence? Screenshot it and read it below before you continue this video. What you're about to hear is this girl in the background breaking down Adonis's picture on the album cover of Drake's album. I think she might be on to something. She even broke down what Drake's son said and correlated that with the Bible scripture. Could music be ran by a dark entity, the angel of death? You guys let me know down below. Run that video and don't forget to follow your boy. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Drake's son, Adonis, description of Drake's album cover is demonic and in the Bible. 1 out of 10, what do you rate Drake's new album?
So the way that Adonis described his artwork on his dad's album is a little sinister, and if I ever feared a child, it's him. Like, I was already trying to figure out what the motive was behind this dog-looking thing, but like, if you listen to how Adonis speaks, it's scary. Because like, for a 6-year-old to be drawing stuff like that, and a wealthy 6-year-old, so like, he didn't grow up in an orphanage, he didn't grow up with like a lot of trauma, so I'm trying to understand where he getting this shit from. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it's demonic, and I'm gonna show you how it's demonic, and the similarities to what Adonis is saying and things that are in the actual Bible are so ghastly that you're going to be like, yeah. Please listen.
All right, Adonis, tell me about your beautiful piece of artwork that you sold me.
So, it's the same story. So the goat was running away from the other monsters and the other animals, and a flower blocking the way. So the flowers of.
I'm going to play the whole thing, but I just want to dive into that part and pull up where that's in the Bible. These are just different versions of the Bible and what each version says. And it says, the creatures of the desert will encounter jackals, and the hairy goat will call to its kind. Indeed, Lilith, the night demon, will settle there and find herself a place to rest. Every version basically says the same thing. So y'all tell me what that boy just said does not sound exactly like that verse from the Bible. Let's keep going.
Some stairs, who's like a jail stairs, and there was one person who was like on top, and he got killed by the trap.
Then he starts talking about peoples that goes up the stairs, right? And he said they look like jail stairs. You know what also look like jail stairs? This is actually a depiction of what the stairway to hell looks like. Looks similar? I don't know. Looks similar to me. Then goes on to say the person goes to the top of the stairs and then they are killed by the trap. Not a track. He said trap. Let's look at this Bible first. For the second temptation, the devil takes Jesus on the top of God's temple in Jerusalem and tells him to jump. The devil argues that this will publicly proclaim Jesus' identity as a divine Messiah. The devil uses scripture in his attempt to deceive Jesus. Jesus rejects the temptation with another passage from Deuteronomy. And that's where the Lord said to Satan, the Lord rebuke you, Satan. The Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. It's not the man, a burning stick snatched from the fire. Oh, let me play the part where he says that he was killed by a stick.
One person who was like on top, and he got killed by the trap.
Yeah, won't be participating. And that goat dog thing don't sound like a Baphomet?
Oh man, that's creepy. What do you think?
Listen up.
My name is President
Listen to what he's saying, because he's speaking facts.
The president of Africa. Some of my TikTok people here have called me the African Putin.
They call him,
You
some
can
people
call me whatever you want.
Some people call him the president of
The
Africa.
beauty of TikTok is the opportunity for me as president to talk to people from all over the world.
Yes.
I
Thank you,
want to
TikTok.
talk to every world citizen in all 6 continents. Asia, Africa,
Doesn't matter.
America, and the rest of all. I want to talk to you today because you see, I am a man who has traveled wild and far. I have traveled all over the world, and I will never understand why in every country there is a gap between the rich and the poor, and the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where you are.
That's
in
right.
India, in Nepal, in Nigeria, in Britain, in America, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
People are speaking up these
And
days.
you have leaders from all over the world.
People are speaking up.
You have, thank you very much.
People are speaking
You
up.
have
We need
leaders
more of this.
who
More.
are responsible. I'm good.
Look how
We
great
have
he is.
leaders who are responsible, making a difference to people's lives. Be it in America, in Brazil, in Japan, in Germany, and they are not doing their job right. You deserve better.
Yes.
You deserve a better leader.
You deserve.
You deserve better leaders in the countries that you live in. What I want you to do is this. You need to start getting involved in what is happening in your respective countries.
Yes.
Don't leave it to the politicians in your respective countries to determine your future. You can be the change that is required to make a difference. If you have a government who has been in power and the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, then you must do something about it. It is
Yes.
really important.
Yes.
You might think that you don't have the ability to do something, but you can galvanize yourselves and do something about it.
Yes.
I really do mean this. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see so many poor people in countries, homeless people in the Western world. It's unbelievable. The
Yes.
rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Yes.
And these governments, all they do is promise manifestos and they do not deliver.
They don't. He's right.
You should be talking to your army officers in your respective countries to see what they can do. That is what you should be doing.
I agree.
Galvanize. Get ready to make a difference. Do
Yes.
not leave it to your politicians to make a difference. They will not make a difference. They are there for the lobbyists. They are not there to represent you, the people.
He's right about
And
that.
it really breaks my heart that I can't be president of all 193 countries. I can't be president of all 6 continents. I can only be president of Laughter Republic. But let me tell you right now, it is really, really important that you understand this, and you understand this very well, that I am broadcasting to you today that you can make a difference, a real difference in your respective countries. I want to hear people respond to this, be it from Brazil, Nigeria, whichever country or continent. You can make a difference. Don't let these politicians get away with it. Talk to your army officers in the respective countries to see whether they can do something for you.
So please share good vibes and love and forgiveness.
This is all chicken of the woods. Wait, Tipper is so furious. I mean, this is insane. And looks like someone has been foraging it here already, which is great because they left me some for reference. That's like 150 pounds of chicken of the woods.
What? Man, that's beautiful. Huh? How long will it take him to notice? Oh. Let's see. Oh, you see, people are... Okay, let's see what it is. Oh, this is very interesting here. And the humans are very... humans are very funny and amazing. And intelligent. Oh, this guy is playing with this guy. Oh, and this other guy doesn't notice. Oh, isn't he honoring where his effort is going? Isn't he seeing that it doesn't, nothing is changing? Oh, this is very interesting. Much love to you if you've watched up to this far. You are an amazing soul and a loving human. God bless you. Much love to you.